So I think crew chief, there we go, is comparable to logistics manager. This is not going to be the best run, by the way.
So yet another key part is crew chief. So crew chief for us is ultimately the decision maker for everything that happens before the weekend starts for us. Setups at the race shop leading into a weekend. What changes we make during a race. I will talk about as a driver what I need differently for the car to do, whether that's turn better, stop better. It's the crew chief's decision to decide what that may be. And then they also have all the strategy of our race weekends. So it's not as simple as turning left and put the throttle down, right? There's a lot that goes into our weekends. And I have input as the driver and as that one there, but I don't have all this information surrounding me to be able to make those decisions. And honestly, I'm not smart enough to do it.
Right.
But as a crew chief, we are able to take all that information and make those decisions and really keep everybody in line and accountable for their actions as well, right?
Okay, all right, so crew chief, right? Words coming to my mind here is logistics manager. So in supply chain, the logistics manager is basically comparable to crew chief in ways that they're receiving in information that sometimes the supply chain manager may not even know. The supply chain manager has this scope of work, and sure, they may oversee the logistics of things to a degree as well. However, the logistics manager is responsible for managing, we talked about lead times earlier and lap times. They're the ones looking at those lead times and those lap times to assess, right, okay, we need 5 more seconds here, we need 2 less seconds here, things like that. And in supply chain, that logistics manager saying, hey, you know, there's predicted to be snowfall in Pennsylvania that could potentially impact our supply chain. Should I expedite it to get it here sooner before the weather hits, or do we delay, and what's the cost of delay, right? What's the cost of that? Awesome, all right. We're down to the last card, folks, the last one here.
Final one, you ready?
Let's do it, ready for it.
Here we are, so Racetrack. Racetrack for us is another interesting one because our sport's very unique in this sense. This is our home base here where we build race cars, but the racetrack is where our sport happens. So we go to a racetrack every weekend. We know what that racetrack is, but the thing about it is it's different week to week. You get one opportunity to go to a racetrack and make that your best showing.
Wow.
That requires a lot of strategy ahead of time. That requires a lot of planning so that we are able to anticipate what the racetrack's going to look like to us. It, in theory, is the same, right? We're always going to a racetrack, but it is always a different venue for us.
Okay. So for racetrack, the supply chain term that comes to mind is going to be your supply chain network. Under the umbrella term of racetrack and supply chain network, everybody has one essentially, right? So he's been to many different racetracks, and it's a racetrack, right? I've seen and consulted with so many clients that have supply chain networks. Everyone has one. But it's till you narrow down to the nuances of each one, right? Supply chains can be vastly different. I mean, the way that they order product, the way that they hold product, how much they hold. One might have an integrated supplier within there, right? So it's so many different ways that they can have their supply chain network set up that it's not enough to just say, hey, it's a supply chain network. Hey, it's a racetrack.